In this lecture, I will quickly explain what Docker is and how you can use it for this course. First of all, the title of this lecture is not really honest. Docker is a complex piece of technology and I can hardly give you an introduction within this course. On the other hand, what I will try to do is to give you just enough information to get you up and running so that you can experiment a bit with Docker, learning by doing, to put it that way, get some basic experience while still being focused on learning Postman and Newman. Now, what is Docker? Docker is a virtualization technology which, to put it in very simple terms, works something like this. Let's imagine you want to install a piece of software, in this case Jenkins. Normally you will need to install Java, download Jenkins and run it. Probably make some configurations to make sure everything works as expected. And all of this using your own operating system. Not only that there are a lot of manual steps being involved here, but also there's the risk of bloating your computer with software that you later may not actually need. The alternative to this would be to install Jenkins in a virtualized manner. So in the case of Docker, it means you will just use a pre-built container with all the software and its dependencies already installed. You will just have to download it because it will be ready to run. And then you can actually focus on using that software instead of following installation guides and manual configuration steps. Most importantly, your computer will remain in its original state. So if you want to try something out, this will not pollute your own machine with software that you will not need. Installing Docker has become much easier than in the past, and it currently works consistently on Windows, macOS, and Linux. In case it makes any difference for you, Docker is a CLI tool, so you need to use the command line to work with Docker. But I will give you all the commands that you need to input, so you do not really have to worry a lot about that. It is not mandatory to work with Docker to complete this course, but I would highly recommend you give it a try. For this course, you can use Docker to work with Newman or Jenkins. Now, let's have a short look at the installation. All you have to do is open a browser, go to docker.com, and in the menu just go to Get Docker and select your own operating system. In case you don't have Windows 10 Professional or Enterprise, you will have to get the Docker toolbox. And the same applies for macOS. If you don't have a recent version of macOS, you will need to download the Docker toolbox as well. Otherwise, just go ahead and click on Get Docker. In case of Mac, once you downloaded and installed Docker, all you have to do is either open the Docker toolbox or just simply open Docker. And most likely soon you will see here on the top bar this icon of Docker, and it will display that Docker is running. Once Docker is running, you can jump straight into it and use it. So I will open a terminal and I will run the docker hello world command. If you see this text, hello from Docker, it means that Docker installed successfully and it works fine. In case you're using the Docker toolbox, either from macOS or from Windows, you have to open the Docker toolbox first. It will take a minute to load, and after that you will be given a similar terminal to the one you're seeing here, and you will be able to input your docker run hello -world command. I hope you managed to follow along. If you encounter any problems or something is not clear, just drop me a message or leave a comment below. I wish you good luck experimenting with Docker and see you at the next lecture. In this lecture, we'll have a look on how you can run Newman with Docker. So just in case you don't want to install locally Node.js and npm, be able to experiment a bit with Newman, You don't have to worry about it. There's a Docker image available for Newman as well. And in this short video, I wanted to show you how you can get started with it. And I will link you this documentation here, which explains everything more in detail. But the purpose of this lecture is just to give you a short introduction so that you know this is possible, it's available, and this is how you can get a very simple scenario to run. So without further ado, we are gonna jump straight into it. And the first thing to just check if this is running is by using this command. So basically I'm running this Postman image, and there's already a link to a collection available from Postman, and we're just gonna use that just to make sure that the setup is up and running. So let's switch to a terminal. I'm gonna paste that command in there. And as you can see, this is the output from the tests. So the collection runs successfully. When you run this for the first time, it will take a bit to download the entire Docker image, which is based on Ubuntu. So be patient initially, but after you have downloaded everything, every time you will use it, it's gonna be like I've shown you in this case. Now, you don't always want to make it available as in a URL. You sometimes just want to run a local collection. And in this case, you need a bit of an additional setup to do. So let's have a look at how that works. Basically, under the running local collection files, we're gonna start again with Docker run. But in this part, we'll actually map the local folder collections with this remote path, which is where Newman is located. So let's see how we can adapt that. So let's first make sure that we actually have a collection. Let me grab this. So we're gonna create a new folder called collections in the home directory. So now jumping to Postman, I'm gonna just export an existing collection that I have, in this case the Trello connection. I'll take the 2.1. And additionally, I should export the environment as well. Now let's make sure that both files are inside the collection. And indeed they are. So this is the collection and this is the environment. So my command will look like this: Docker run, and mapping the local folder of collections to Newman. I'm using this Docker image, and then I have to input a collection name, and that is Trello. I will put it in double quotes to make sure. And additionally, I'll specify the environment as well. You can specify here any other parameters that you need, just as you normally would with Newman. So if you read the Newman CLI documentation, you will understand how it works with Docker as well. Now let's see how this works. Now the text executed, as you see, I have one failed assertion, but apart from that, all the requests are here and can be easily inspected. So there's basically nothing standing in the way to use Docker in order to work with Newman and Postman collections. I hope you find this lecture helpful. Maybe the pace was a bit too quick, so So in case you have any questions or you encounter any problems or stuff like that, I know this is quite an advanced and quite a complex topic. Just let me know. I'm more than willing to help you and with any errors or any questions that you might have. So feel free to write me a message or leave a comment or something like that. See you at the next lecture.